Glad we didn't have us storms last week.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
That's what he said, and I agree. It's been a nightmare.
that would have been tough.
That would have been bad.
Wouldn't have been a lot of tents on the,
Right. Fairgrounds
still,
bad last night.
a lot of tore up.
Yeah, our tents would have been shredded.
Right, 6.
Ready?
Budget workshop meeting, August 18th, 2025, 6 PM. Fair,
Here.
Briggs,
Here.
Coulter, Heidrich,
Here.
Holtmeyer,
Here.
Packey,
Here.
Pepsel,
Here?
Solentrup. Please rise for pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will all the committee members answer if they have or have not read the minutes of the meeting dated August 4th, 2025? Fair,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Heidrich,
Aye.
Holtmeyer,
Aye.
Packey,
Yes.
Pepsel.
Yes.
Need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Patke, second by Briggs to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's approved.
Budget highlights?
So, within your packet, you've got a two-page document that kind of gives you the highlights of what we've proposed for our 25-26 budget. Tammy and her staff worked very hard to go ahead and work with department heads to go ahead and put these numbers together for you. So, I can go over the 2 pages. It's broken down by funds like we've done in the past, starting with the general fund. One of the items that, as you know, that most of you, if not all of you, know that we had McGrath provide a salary study for the city prior to last year's budget. And due to the fact of the implementation of that, we could not go ahead and complete all of those under one budget. So we made a determination or a goal to go ahead and have the phase 2 of that study to go ahead and be implemented, which is approximately a $305,000 increase. This is just in the general fund. As you realize, we have other funds that pick up wages too, like water, wastewater, et cetera. But that's an approximate 5% increase for all employees across the board. The other notes for the general fund, we have, Tammy and I talked about the increase in sales tax. Tammy expressed some concerns. She's met with other finance managers and from other cities, and some of them were even doing a 0 increase on sales tax with concerns for the upcoming year. We settled on 1.5% revenue from the sales tax based on the past year. We estimated 2% increase for our current year. That's what we budgeted for the budget that we're in now. But however, as of August, the actual increase is about 3.5%. So we are doing better than what we had anticipated. Again, as we did last year, we're proposing to transfer 75% of the local use tax to the general fund to help with those wages and help with the salary study, as well as other items. You still have the annual payment to commissioned police officers. It's anticipated somewhere around $5,000 from the Prop P funding. That number fluctuates depending upon how many commissioned officers we have within the police department. These are the additional staff we're proposing: addition of 1 full-time officer to the police department, a full-time employee to the airport to replace the part-time, and a part-time employment to parks. So that's about 20 hours rather than full 40 hours. Transfer of $440,000 to the library to cover expenses. In the past, that's been about $300,000, but you do have a roof project that I think they have to take care of above the, I don't know what you call that portion of the roof, but it's the elevated portion that's over there that has to go ahead and be replaced. You have a transfer of $400,000 to $500,000. We'll know what that number is a little bit closer to the time of budget next month. But to the vehicle replacement fund last year, we transferred $250,000. That's how we were able to go ahead and implement the salary study. Again, the vehicle replacement fund is there to go ahead and take care of vehicles that we can't get through enterprise for leasing, bigger trucks, et cetera, stuff like that. We are anticipating a health insurance estimated increase of 10%, 9 to 10%, 10% to be on the safe side. You do have increased electric rates of 12% that we're going to be facing this year through Ameren. And you also are going to estimate an increase of 13% for your property liability and casualty insurance. So that covers the general fund. The local use tax, we're projecting a 5% increase in use tax based upon last year's increase. We estimated a 5% again for the current budget that we're in. As of August, the actual increase has been 8.75. So it is performing a little bit better than what we anticipated. You have completion of construction of Foxcrest Bridge to begin connection with Rabbit Trail Drive, an ongoing project that we've had funding out of that tax. We're proposing this idea was proposed by Charles to deal with erosion control that we have within the city. As you know, we've probably got over a dozen places within the city where people have had problems with banks eroding. It's not our property. It is their property. It's not, but obviously the city stormwater goes through that. Well, sure, it picks up off the streets in some cases and does. But what we researched, what Charles looked into, was that some other cities have established a certain dollar amount of rock that they'll go ahead and set aside. And if those property owners want to come and on a first come, first served basis, we'll go ahead and they can get access to that to use that. They would pay in this case. We don't have the details of the entire program worked out, but we want to set aside that dollar amount so that we could go ahead and do a program similar to that. Utilize funds to slip line storm sewer mains for repairs. You still have some to continue with the detention basin retrofit projects at 8th and over at High Street. And then you have $250,000 set aside, as we talked about, for the riverfront bank stabilization, which will take place whenever the river gets to a level that we can go ahead and deal with. Water fund and wastewater funds, not much different. Well, the only thing in water fund is that we are proposing an additional full-time employee. As most of you know by the ordinance that was passed with the last time we raised the rates, we do have a CPI escalator in there. We do take it from August, not from July, but for purposes so you know where it's coming. For July, it was 2.7%. You have an annual rate increase as well for the wastewater. So again, we'll see what it is for August. Solid waste fund, we just had the increase for the new trash rates. Capital improvement sales tax fund, these are the projects that are still left. You got the completion of the construction of the fire station, approximately $1.8 million. Downtown Washington improvements, which includes the new light standards, paver replacement, utility burial for the front and main of $825,000. You have equipment storage facility for parks and public works, $900,000. You may need to go ahead and get more depending upon what happens with the future of that tax. And then you also have the airport runway expansion. That is $3 million, but 95% of that is reimbursable. Pool house renovation, we did open bids last week. We do have, we're not ready to bring those bids yet before you, but the committee will meet next Monday. But we did have $195,000 in this new, we'll probably have to transfer what we had in this current budget over as well too, but again, we'll talk about what those bids are at a later date. And then we still had City Hall improvements at $135,000 for some miscellaneous items. Transportation Sales Tax Fund, you see the first two projects are grant-funded projects where our city shares is both, ironically, on both of those projects, around $330,000. One is Front Street from Jefferson to Stafford. High Street is from Fifth to Front. You have the International Highway 100 intersection improvements. That number was reduced. If you'll remember, we changed the scope of that project not to reflect stuff on the south side, but still kept it on the north. That's a dedicated right. Our city share on that is $151,000 and change. You got local paving. We still have $250,000 we'll be setting aside for local paving. High Street extension of $100,000, a Foxcrest extension, $650,000 coming out of that. That's for that connection again from the fire station over to Rabbit Trail Drive. And then we've got design for various projects in this coming year. These are grant projects that you've already received funding for. And our city share, we're looking at $155,000 out of that. And you also have the Riverfront Trail connection. Grant is funding $225,000, but the total on that is close to $300,000. And then finally, on your marijuana tax, we're proposing $100,000 to go to Parks operating budget and $50,000 to be split to communications employees just similar to what we did Prop P funding, and we did that last year, the first time after receiving that tax. We will take a look at, Tammy and I have talked about just seeing where we're at. One other item that we did not fund that was a request was a part-time office to help with the commercial occupancy program that we wanted to go ahead and start. We do have the inspectors, you know, that we started with in last year's budget. We'll take a look and see where we're at. If we're doing better than 1.5% after the first quarter, then we'll consider possibly looking at doing that hiring on that employee. That's really one of the only requests that we had for additional employment that we weren't able to include on this budget. So, questions? In the future, what we would do is we would have the hearing for this on the second meeting in September, which would be September 22nd, and then that would be the ordinance when we would like to adopt the budget.
Do you have the numbers for the sales tax of the other cities? That you were saying that they were going to go with 0% for next year's
I
budget?
don't know which ones, Tammy, if you want to come up and talk about some of the cities that you spoke with.
I know that we're at 3.5 so far for August. I was just wondering where they're at, if we have those numbers.
I don't have the numbers of where they are right now, but I know a lot of the cities, whenever, I'm on an email chain, so we can ask all kinds of questions, of course. And I know there were a lot of cities that said that they were gonna do flat sales increase for this coming
Yeah.
year. Kirkwood was one, Hazelwood, Eureka. I mean, that's the ones I can remember off the top of my head, I'm sorry, but
No,
there
that's
were-
fine. I was just wondering what
Yeah.
their target was this year, and if they're meeting their target. Like,
Oh,
I
this,
think,
their target in their current budget year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know. where
I'm
they-
sorry, I didn't ask that question.
We can ask
I'm
that
sorry.
question
I
now.
can ask them that question and see what they say.
Yeah.
Sure, I can ask that.
In the past, we've been, like I said, I think Washington's really kind of outperformed, even if there's a national
Right,
trend.
I know.
We've kind of bucked that trend a
Right.
little bit sometimes, that's the
and I know
reason
you've always been very conservative since
Yeah.
I've been on the board, so I
Yeah,
just wanted to ask the question.
I understand.
Do you have any specifics on the 400,000 to 500,000 vehicle reimbursement fund?
I don't know what vehicles are
Those
coming
large
up.
Vehicles, do we have anything that's funded for sure, or it's been asked?
Goodness. Well, Tony has one. Tony has some. Do you remember what they are?
We have a 2.5-ton snowplow truck with a salt spreader plow on it. I think we got a small trailer for our roller, smaller items,
Okay.
and a pickup truck through the enterprise.
I can get you the list.
No, I don't need a list. I would just, we talked about this at the budget, or the salary
Salary.
meeting. And, you know, that's just the one thing that sticks out to me, that difference of 100,000 is, you know, what are we actually doing?
Yeah.
And then where else can we?
And we'll have that, we'll have a better number for you here in the next, between now and September
And
22nd.
while we're on that, we've discussed this, trying to give a potential merit increase to employees also. If we can do a better, it's still a possibility. Tammy, you want to speak to that a little bit, or?
Whenever I looked at that, this tariff stuff is still kind of, I'm still really nervous about this. So whenever I talked to Darren, I looked at some numbers, and I thought maybe it would be good if we could wait till at least mid-year to see how things are going, and then see if we could do it at that time.
We could readdress it. And the city's done
Address it
that
at
in the
that time.
past, just if we're nervous about heading into the budget year, we can always go ahead and take a look at it at each quarter and see where we're at.
Sure. Sure, and that's kind of what I thought, if we could look at it and see where we are. That would help too, you know, we'd know where the local use tax is at that point too. And see, because we take 75% out of there, and see where we are. So,
So I guess as a message to our employees, we're looking, we're trying,
right, we're
It's just
trying,
not-
I just,
feasible.
right, I just want to make sure that we're okay before I say, yeah, I want to give them another 1% or whatever we can possibly give them.
And we explained last year during when we met with all the employees that, you know, here was what we were shooting for. Phase 2 of the salary study, that's first and foremost. Then to see if we, you know, if there was And then it depends on which order, if you want to look at it that way, is what was CPI, and then also, you know, what merit did you want to go ahead and put, so.
Then also too, I was looking at, you know, how I said something about the electric, going up by the 12%. Also, our franchise tax should go up some. Just don't know how much
Yeah,
by that, somehow in through there. So I was wondering, you know, if I could kind of look at that too at that same point and see how much it's actually going to increase. That'll help me too, because I did not put an increase for the utility franchise in this budget because I didn't actually know where it was going to be.
So when you say franchise, you mean
that's the.
you mean enterprise fund?
That's
Sewer,
the,
water?
well, no, this is the tax that you have for utilities. This is the Ameren and as well as Spire. So you have an increase, as we all know, you got a major user of natural gas now located in our industrial park, and so we've been taking a look at that since they started operations in May, I believe it was, of this year.
And it-
So
and
we
it
just
has-
haven't seen a full year of that. We don't know, but there will be somewhat of an increase there.
Yeah, and I think there'll be an increase too in the electric. Of course, it depends on whether,
Sure.
you know, I mean, that's a big change, but the 12%, you know, you don't know what the weather's going to be. But I thought, you know, if we could look at that also at mid-year or even the first quarter and see how we're doing, and, you know, that might help also to be able to give people then that incentive.
Thanks for all your hard work and staff. This really explains a lot in a short time, so thanks you guys for getting this together. It's
We just
a lot
feel
of work.
like you guys want the highlights. I don't think you want every single thing or whatever, but this is what we can do out of each fund. And like I said, but a lot of hard work went with our department heads to figure out the budget, to get that to Tammy. It's been, and Tammy's staff has been really great to go ahead and work, going line by line with the department heads and looking at the budget, so.
If you'd like to go in more in depth, I can, you know. Just
quite
if
all
you'd like, anytime, just come by my office, we can talk.
On a need-to-know basis.
Just, well, I mean, we got a minute, but, so the local use fund tax will fund the bridge at Fox Crest,
Yes,
but the transportation sales tax will fund
the roadway.
the roadway.
That's how we have had it budgeted the last couple of years. I will say that we have pushed our transportation sales tax dollars as far as we could. This year is going to be tight, and next year is going to be pretty lean. Charles and I were talking about that too as we look at future projects, meaning everything's allocated for. I mean, we've already got projects spoken for that are already there, but that's how we were able to put that together for that connection to Fox Crest.
Right, and I think, again, we it's imperative to mention that the transportation sales tax is that much more important, so we can continue to do things like this.
Absolutely.
I know we speak of it often, and with our capital improvement sales tax and transportation tax up next April, it's just, it's so imperative to keep doing what we're doing each and every year, and the cost share, this outlines, and this shows it so much, that we're 20%, excuse me, 20% on the dollar, you know, that we're gonna, that we can use and fix our streets in town.
And we want to be able to continue to go ahead and have Charles' office apply for those funds. I mean, another one that we've got, another intersection, and if you'll remember, we have tapped into those CMAQ funds for the last 2 years to help with these intersections where we're meeting capacity with queuing in the lines and everything else, and this gets us dedicated right turn lanes, this gets us, you know, dual lefts if we need to at the intersections. The next one that you probably need to look at will be Pottery Road and 100. At that intersection, Charles and I have talked about that already, but it doesn't end. Those intersections are key, so.
Sure.
I think it
And one-
must be also emphasized that our citizens are responding to our requests. This is a logical plan, and our citizens respond, they pass the tax.
One good thing
Sorry.
too, I think, engineering, they do a great job trying to get every grant they can get for that. Even though I know I bother them where my money is, you know, but that's okay. They do a good job I think they do an excellent job at getting whatever they can get in grants on all that. So
really
I do
kinda why
appreciate that.
Really kind of why most of that is already spent and spoken for.
That's exactly right.
Because it's,
Right.
Because it's
our
programmed
portion
out
of-
that far.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. I would invite any, if you have additional questions or you got comments, we will try to go ahead. I made a note to follow up on a couple items for you, but let us know between now. But we do plan on having the hearing and the ordinance to go ahead and pass the budget on September 22nd, so.
I'd just like to make a statement, Darren, you made me aware of this, and we were in the salary study meeting, but our police officers receive an estimated $5,000 a year, and that's based on Prop P funding.
Correct.
But unbeknownst to me, that is a set amount, because when Prop P was passed, we had 28 commissioned officers. Now, as our town grows and we have 32, or now a potential 33, that number just gets split. It doesn't get added, it gets split. So it's like through the county, it's a penalty to us to have more officers and continue to grow. So they don't get reimbursed like others will, other towns who have less. So that really caught my attention in our budget and salary meeting, that every officer should get that same amount, and it's not happening that way. So as we grow, we're kind of getting penalized for that. So unfortunately, that's just the way Prop P was passed, and I don't think we're going to change that.
Well,
but,
that's a policy of the county commission. I think that policy can change. They set up the tax, how they were going to use the tax, but the formula for how they were going to distribute it, that can still change. That's not decided, I don't think, by what was on the ballot at that time, so. Did you get everything that Councilman Padkey said there, John?
We would encourage the
Did you get that all down? Do you want me to
consider
repeat that?
I just encourage the commissioners to consider that. I mean, it's very, the formula is flawed as far as that goes, and it would be imperative to
Yeah.
pay each officer the right
It's
amount.
based on how many officers we had January 1st of 2018. 8 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Enough said.
That's all I have on the budget unless you got any questions. We do have our new Parks Director is here. She spent her first day with us or whatever. Lori Rice. Lori? Welcome. That's all I have. We just had the budget workshop. We do have some items for you in executive session, but obviously you got a lot of department heads here, so if you have any other questions. If not,
Executive session, public vote on whether or not to hold a closed meeting to discuss personnel, legal, or real estate matters pursuant to section 610.021 RSMO 2000. Fair?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Hydrich?
aye.
Holtmeyer?
Aye.
Packey?
Yes.
Capsule?
Yes.
By your vote, we're in executive session.
Hi, Pete. How are you? Yeah, that's our game plan. Hold on till she gets everything off.
Okay.